Another potential border war is taking shape. This one potentially worth billions of tax dollars. Right now, leaders in Kansas are taking a big swing at a plan to get KC's two biggest sports teams to move to their side of the state line.
We will take some time to reflect on and process the outcome.
Wheels started turning in April when Jackson County, Missouri voters shot down a renewal of a stadium sales tax. The Chiefs and Royals threw millions of dollars into a campaign hoping to sway voters to fund improvements and a new downtown ballpark. Now they're reaching into their coffers yet again. The Royals have hired Kansas lobbyists ahead of this week's special session, hoping to get something going weeks after talk of a Chiefs move to Kansas made headlines, complete with renderings of what a new stadium could look like. As you can imagine, that's frustrating leaders in Missouri.
The reality is we're not really at the negotiating table because we don't have any cards. But there does need to be dialogue with the teams. I think that dialogue needs to include both the state and the city of Kansas City and Jackson County. We should be coming together collectively to form a plan.
Jackson County's executive has said talks with both teams are happening, but that's about all his office is saying right now. We know one county legislator is pitching a sales tax that's half the price of the one that failed, lasting for 25 years instead of 40, focused solely on the Chiefs. Stay tuned for that. Kansas lawmakers, meanwhile, are full speed ahead and down to the wire. They gather in Topeka Tuesday for the special session that's supposed to focus on tax cuts. We'll get to that in a moment. Keep this in mind, though. Kansas is different than other states. Lawmakers can pass other measures, not just what the governor calls them back to consider. So there's a bit of a mad dash to get a deal together that's sweet enough to attract the teams and sell the taxpayers. They had one in the final days of the regular session using star bonds to fund stadium projects for the Chiefs and Royals that uses sales tax revenue to pay those bonds back. Star bonds have been used before as a tool to spark development, especially around the Legends where a Chiefs stadium is being proposed. But we checked 8 star bond projects built in our area. State records show only 2 of those have been recouped since it comes to expenses since their opening. Children's Mercy Park and Village West. Other projects like the Kansas Speedway still have balances, but leaders say they brought in business.
The whole reason the western side of Wyandotte County has been so successful in the last 10 years is because of our experience of applying star bonds to projects just like this one.
It's possible Kansas lawmakers could also look at using money raised by sports betting or the lottery. Time will tell, but we know they're interested in figuring something out. In a statement, Kansas House Speaker Dan Hawkins pledged to take a look at using Kansas' unique star bonds tool to potentially find a home for both the Chiefs and the Royals without a cost to Kansas taxpayers. Speaker Hawkins joins us now to get to the heart of the matter. Thanks for being here. I know you want to talk taxes, and we will in a minute, but I have to ask, how much energy is being spent on getting these teams to come to Kansas?
Yeah, good morning, Cody. It's a lot. There's been many discussions with actually both teams, and certainly discussions with our members, because truly it's up to our members whether we do this. So to say that there's not a huge amount of work going on, there is, and certainly I'm tearing up the road during this time.
We know Royals lobbyists registered not long after your joint statement came out about the Chiefs. They are clearly ready to talk. What are you prepared to give these teams, and what does a deal look like?
Well, it's all about star bonds. This is our tool. It's a tool that most states don't have. It's kind of like a user fee, really. If you're going to go to the Chiefs facility, you're going to pay sales tax on everything you do there and anything around that area that's in that area, and that goes to pay the star bonds. So no taxpayer money, as far as income tax, property tax, any of those type of taxes, go to support this. It's strictly sales tax only. That is a really unique way of being able to do these projects. And we're excited about this because this project is truly made for this.
Have you directly talked to members of the Chiefs, the Royals? Is there anything you could share?
I have. I've talked actually with both of them, a little bit more with the Chiefs because they certainly engaged earlier. But there's interest in both teams, and I suspect that if we are able to get this passed during the special session, that they will engage and continue to evaluate the possibilities. And then it's up to them if they enter into an agreement to do star bonds.
I have to imagine Missouri is not taking this sitting down. If there was an interstate move that could potentially spell another border war, are you thinking about ramifications at all?
No, from what I'm seeing, I mean, I know folks in the Missouri legislature, and I've not heard anything from any of them. I know the Speaker of the Missouri House, know him well. I would say that if there was something that they were talking about, I'd probably have heard from them, but I have not. I would suspect that there should be a response. But it's not really a border war. I think really it's more important, and I think, and I'm not speaking for the teams here, but I would say that they want to stay in the Kansas City area. So whether it's on the Kansas side or the Missouri side, probably most important is that we keep the Chiefs and the Royals in Kansas City.
Now, optics-wise, I imagine it's a bit of a tightrope walk for your members because tax cuts are supposed to be the main focus this week. How long do you expect this special session to last, and what's going on behind the scenes right now to make a deal happen?
Yeah, so tax is our primary objective. When we go back to special session, that's what is being called for, and we will not work on star bonds until we get tax done. Tax has to be done. The people of Kansas need tax relief. We're dealing with Biden inflation and all kinds of rising costs. They need help, and so tax relief is our prime mission when we go back Tuesday.
Now, the last tax measure that the governor vetoed boosted standard deductions and personal exemptions, lowered income tax rates at 2 brackets instead of 3, also called to eliminate the food sales tax by July 1st. That's $1.5 billion in cuts over 3 years. The governor, again, vetoed this, called this drop in tax revenue unsustainable. What will a new tax deal look like this time?
Well, number one, we've been working with the governor. We want to get a tax deal, so the governor's finally come to the table. We hadn't really had a whole lot of interaction with her because she's just been on a veto rant. She just vetoed everything we sent her. She now is at the table with a plan that suits her and certainly meets our objectives. And that's the most important part, is meeting our objectives. We feel that Senate Bill 37, the very last plan, but we had 3 plans that were almost identical, just little tweaks. Senate Bill 37 was a great plan. She should not have vetoed that. What we're going to end up doing in the special session will not be a lot different. It'll be a little bit different, and it'll certainly be a little less costly. This tax bill will not include sales tax on food. January 1, it goes to 0 anyway. But it's going to have the same look as Senate Bill 37, and so I truly believe that our members and the Senate members will be happy with it. We'll pass that, I think, fairly easily, and the governor will sign it, and then we'll move on from this situation and have that over.
Well, we'll be watching. Kansas Speaker Dan Hawkins, thanks for your time.
Thank you.